ourselves that determines how we act. And at the beginning of that department are image makers. And I always tell people, I mean, I've worked with so many. I mean, look, these days I do a lot of corporate work, so I'm shooting all the billionaires. You know, I'm shooting, sometimes you find yourself shooting an election poster, you know, of a president, you know, and things like that. So at the end of the day, for me, it's about telling that story on a daily basis. I've been shooting Nigerian music and entertainment industry, from the actors to the actresses, you name them. I mean, from Genevieve to Omotala to, you know, the older ones to the new ones.
So I saw some of them on your website. Just a quick thought about the experience, this experience. What are the lessons that you took away, that you continuously seem to take away when you interact with these people?
Well, I've always, a lot of times you look at it and you look at how did these people achieve what they've achieved, and you find that there's a thread that runs along the line of each of these people. It's about dedication, it's about consistency, it's about focus, you know. And all I'm interested in is how do we get our people to understand that they are this great and that they should just understand that they're that way and continue and find what we need to contribute to the world. Recently, Donald Trump banned in Nigeria, and people are like, look at the demographics of Nigerians in the United States. They are the most well-educated, they are the most accomplished. Now, that is the story that we need to tell. Our people need to understand that we are people of excellence.
Indeed, we are. So what do we expect from you in the coming days? You have a big thing in the net, but what are the things? Who are you working with currently?
Oh, well, you know, the next thing I'm about to do is to unbundle all the knowledge and let the younger ones understand how we got where we are and how to get there, you know. So for me, in the next few years, I'm going to be teaching a lot and let people understand how I see and I'm able to make all these images. People are very curious about it. So I'm going to let all the secrets out.
Oh, I want to be in the class as well. Thank you very much for coming on the program today.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Same here.
I trust you enjoyed our chat with Kelechi. Next up is Dayo Adedayo, the man who has chronicled Nigeria in a very unique way, documenting our landmarks in photographs. I'm positive you will have a good time.
Our guest on the program is Dayo Adedayo, a British-trained Nigerian photographer, cultural anthropologist, and an author. He published his first book titled Nigeria, a pictorial informative compendium on Nigeria in 2010. A centenary edition of Monopoly Nigeria by Best Man Games, released into the market in 2014, had 98% of pictures from Adedayo's archives. So also all the pictures on display at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. This Nigerian was a member of the Nigeria Board on Technical Education, charged in 2012 to look into setting up photography as a course in Nigerian polytechnics. Interestingly, all the watermarked images on the Nigerian e-passport is his handiwork. He is also an external examiner at Auchi Polytechnic, among many other responsibilities. He graces us with his presence for an interview in our studios. Thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Have you always known you wanted to be a photographer? You are extremely good at it.
Oh, thank you. It's not something I knew I would do.
Okay.
I was trained as an agricultural, extension worker.
Oh, really?
Yes, and but I've been in photography from the age of 18. And what happened? Life, when it rains, you look at the rainbow. And at the end of the day, it's something I find myself, something I'm at peace with myself. But it all boils down to being a shy person.
Oh, you don't look shy.
You know, I love to be behind the camera. So that takes away me having a conversation with anybody. Just
All you
taking
just do
pictures,
is
just
shoot
taking
it.
pictures and
Okay, tell us a bit about your work. I can see you have some new works already. Tell us about what you do.
at the moment, I'm very much into documenting Nigeria. I don't want to say documentary.
Okay.
Documenting Nigeria. I've taken it as a personal project.
You already have some work done on Nigeria. You
Yeah.
visited how many states
I've
already?
visited all the states, 774 local governments,
And documented many.
everything. And at the moment, I have over 4 million images on Nigeria. And having said that, I'm going back to each of the states again to have a comprehensive images. As of today, I have about 4 books on, 4 states under my wing. There is nothing you will mention in Rivers State, Lagos State, Ogun State, Borno State, Rivers, Ogun, Lagos, and Borno that I don't have.
Okay.
Everything, landmark, historical, monuments, everything I've captured. Of course, things are changing. The landscape is changing as well. Lagos and Ogun most especially.
Now, what would be, which of these states, rather, would you say was your favorite pictorially?
Borno State.
Why is that?
Borno State, the appellation is the home of peace. Before Boko Haram, if I'm not living in Lagos or Abuja, I will live in Maiduguri.
I'm thinking you're the first person to say that ever.
Because Borno State is just too beautiful. Probably because I grew up in the south. Going to Borno State was just something else because as far as the eye could see, pure sand, desert. So it's quite interesting, and the people are very receptive, and life there is very peaceful. You don't have the religious fundamentalism of what you have in the Northwest. The North is a bit mix of Christians and Muslims, and in Borno State they are Kanaris. So probably their cultural orientation is quite different from the rest of the country. And not just that alone, if you are in Borno State, you are more likely to be an international trader because it's boundary Chad, Niger, and Cameroon.
I'm sure a lot of persons didn't know that until today. Thank you for sharing. All right, let's talk about photography in Nigeria. We'll get back to some of your works in a bit. Where are we? How far have we come? And where do you see us going?
In the Nigeria of today, I would say we've not started.
Really?
Yeah, no, we've not started anything on photography at the moment. And I see myself with the likes of Kelechi Amadi, Don Baba, oh my God, I've forgotten his name now, the man of the Niger Delta, one of the best documentary photographer ever in Nigeria. He knows the Niger Delta in and out. I will remember his name
In the course of the conversation.
This, yeah.
Okay.
And I'll see ourselves as John the Baptist, the forerunners. Why? Because the guy that came after us, or the generation before us, do not have that kind of education. They see them as T-boys or things like that. So the respectability, George Oshodi.
Okay,
Yeah,
George
Oshodi,
Oshodi.
yeah.
Okay.
So the generation before us do not have a very good foundation for us, with the exception of 3 people, Uncle Sumi Smart Cole, who studied in California. Then you have the wartime photographer, Peter Obi. And there is someone who is a living legend, and people hardly talked about him, which is really sad.
Who is this person?
Cornelius Oyemade. He's in his 80s now. And of course, Jackie Phillips passed away. He's into portraiture. Because photography is like medicine. Everybody has his area of specialty.
Yes.
And the future is bright because the younger ones are well educated. Unfortunately, Auchi Polytechnic has bailed the cat in training photography. Before Auchi Polytechnic, everybody thinks photography is portraiture and social photography, weddings and the rest of that.
So how are you coping? I asked the same question of your colleague Kelechi when he was with us. How are you coping with the digitization of everything? Everybody has a smartphone. Everybody's a photographer. We have Instagram. We have Twitter. All this picture sharing platform. How has it affected photography as you know it, making a comparison of the old days and today?
In terms of creativity, we are not getting better photographers today because even your mobile phones will take pictures that you will just drop your jaw. In a way, digitalization is killing the profession. And that is the more reason you are seeing more and more poorer photographers, because a lot of companies are doing things themselves in terms of advertisement, because you can use your mobile phone to do videos, you can use it to take pictures, post it on Instagram. You don't need huge megapixels to take pictures these days to post on social media for you to make sales, because that is where the money is. Fashion and advertisement. That is where you make the bulk of money in photography. So in the absence of that, where will you make money from? Because social photography is not something you can rely on, because if you don't work tomorrow, the next tomorrow, you are dead.
But Kelechi seems to share a different opinion when it comes to the effect of digitalization on photography today. He seems to believe that it has actually amplified the quality of work that real photographers like yourself do.
No, not the camera itself.
Okay.
It is post-production.
Okay.
Post-production is easier because you have computers which are faster, and lots of softwares are in the market that you can use to manipulate images. In those days, pre-1990, virtually everything is manual. You need to buy different films if you are going into the field, ISO from 100 to 800. But these days, we just want to, you can change your ISO from 50, even 25 ISO to 6400 to shoot. But in those days, those things are not there. One is for you to shoot, and the other thing is post-production. So in post-production, a lot of things is just like video. When you are editing, you can add a lot of effects and stuff. Yes. So digitalization has enhanced that. But in terms of the quality of work that has been produced through the camera, not much. The best pictures ever were all taken on manuals. And today, a lot of professionals in Europe and North America are going back to films.
Long term, what will be the effect on this on photography as we know it?
There is a saying that you have to change with time. Nothing is constant. What will happen is, even though when photography came, artists in those days said, oh, it's going to kill their business, because now you can get an instant picture instead of sitting down for hours for someone to paint you. It can only get better. More people will be drawn into it, but there will be less and less photographers in quote. Because if you have your mobile phone and you can take very fantastic pictures, what's the point of going to the studio to photograph, to take pictures with your family? Because you can as well, a 2-3-year-old can now take pictures.
Tell us about this book that you have.
And that is the beauty of going beyond the lens. My take is you have to go beyond the lens. This is Yoruba Proverbs. Oh. And since the history, since the creation, or since the existence of the Yoruba race, nobody has ever produced this.
Really?
Because now I'm taking pictures to illustrate a proverb. What you usually see before now are illustrations. But it takes a lot of depth, a lot of thinking for you to see an image and now adapt it. You see photography, but in another way. I mean, if you are not Yoruba, or even if you are Yoruba, you see the picture, you read the proverb, the translation. It's much easier for you to go with.
I always wanted to learn Yoruba language.
Just like I wanted to learn the Hausa and Igbo, so I won't be lost wherever I find myself in Nigeria. And then you find Ogun State as well.
Oh.
All right, so this is a snapshot of Ogun State. There's another one that I'm working on, which is very comprehensive, about 500 pages. So whatever you're looking for in Ogun State, will be in that book. Pictorially, this is just pictures and it tells you a bit of story on the state itself.
Okay, so what are we expecting? You alluded to a lot of work in the pipeline. You still want to amplify what you've done in states across the country. So let's say in the next couple of years, what should we be expecting from you?
You should be getting more states, and I'm working on Nigeria 3.0, which should be the end of the 1.0, 2.0 series. It's going to weigh about 50 kg, just like a bag of cement. And every local government in this country will featured in that book. The reason is, if we don't advertise ourselves, nobody is going to advertise us.
Is there support from government, and how do you manage it with family life? Because you practically have to be somewhere at every time.
I've been very lucky all my life. Some of my very deep religious friends would say I'm blessed. To have a wife that understands me, that's what I do. I don't have any other business. I'm useless once you take me out of photography. But God has been very kind to me. It's not as difficult as people think it is, because I might go away for a month, for 2 months, then for the rest of because I only work once a year, for the rest of the year, I'm home.
What's the market, rather, for these? Do you have people really patronizing your work once it is completed?
Like I said, God has been very kind to me. All my books all been sold out, and as a rule, I don't reprint.
Okay, why is that?
It's a work of art. It's not biscuits that you just buy, run out, go to the factory and reproduce. So you'll be lucky to have a part of me with you, because a lot of thinking has gone into it. I do the design, everything by myself. I have people to edit. It's not your run of the mill to say, okay, I self-publish as well. So it's something I really handled personally. All my books has always been sold out.
Post COVID-19, what kind of pictures do you see you would be taking?
I started on a documentary because we had similar experience between 1918 and 1920. I've read a lot about it. Just text, but no images, aside from the one from Spain in a big hospital, grainy black and white pictures. I've taken some images of Lagos that it might never happen again in another 100 years. That you see Lagos as empty as nobody. It is just unbelievable. And I hope to go back to the same spot, same time, and just document that. So in another 100 years, when we are long gone, those are the images that people will see that, at this point in time when they have coronavirus in the year 2020, this is how the city looked like then, And for me, I'm just trying to document our civilization, because at the end of the day, I'm taking pictures today. Tomorrow is no longer a picture.
It's history.
It's now a document that you can use in a court of law. It's history, and you cannot rewrite it.
Exactly. Thank you very much for all that you do, and we look forward to all the beautiful things to come.
Thank you for having me. I'm really grateful.
And that's our conversation for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got an idea of how beautiful this country truly is. More conversations like this here on Plus TV Africa. Do take care of yourself, and I will see you soon enough.
Seize it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bukky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to VOA's Red Carpet. My name is Jackson Vunganyi. I want to thank you for joining us today on the show. Like we do each week right here on Red Carpet, we bring you the latest in entertainment news, in sports, in fashion, in film and television from around the world. Let's get on with the show. The Daily Show host and comedian Trevor Noah has been tapped to host the 2021 Grammy Awards in January. The South African was nominated for his first Grammy Award earlier this year for Best Comedy Album, but he lost out to Dave Chappelle. And he said that despite the fact that I'm extremely disappointed that the Grammys have refused to have me sing or be nominated for Best Pop Album, I'm thrilled to be hosting this auspicious event, he said in a statement. I think as a one-time Grammy nominee, I'm the best person to provide a shoulder to all the amazing artists who do not win the night, because I too know the pain of not winning the award. This is a metaphorical shoulder. I'm not trying to catch corona. See you at the 63rd Grammys. And you know we are going to cover the 63rd Grammys right here on Red Carpet, so stay tuned. And it's another sad loss for the sports world following the death of soccer legend Diego Maradona. Tributes have poured in for Papa Bouba Diop, the Senegal midfielder who scored the goal that delivered one of the greatest upsets in World Cup history. He died at the age of 42. Diop was the hero when Senegal shocked the defending champion France 1-0 in the opening game of the 2002 World Cup in Japan and South Korea. It was Senegal's World Cup debut, and the win sent the West Africans on a run to the quarterfinals to match the best performance at the tournament by an African team. Once a World Cup hero, always a World Cup hero, FIFA said in its tribute on Twitter. Diop was loved in Senegal because of that goal against the French, who are former colonizers of Senegal, but also for his likable personality off the field, along with his skill on it. Liverpool's Senegalese forward Sadio Mane wrote of Diop on his official Twitter page, "It was with a broken heart that we learned of your departure. Know that you will remain in our hearts forever, even if you left without saying goodbye to us." One of Sierra Leone's top rap and hip-hop artists, Louisa Sia Diane Squire, best known as Louise, has released a new single and music video with a special meaning behind it, Perseverance. In a virtual interview with VOA's Music Time in Africa host Heather Maxwell, they caught up on the artist in Freetown to find out more about the message she's trying to get across with her new music.
Hi, Louise. How you doing?
I'm okay, Heather. How about you?
I'm doing fine. It looks nice and sunny there in Freetown.
It is nice and sunny out here.
So tell me about your new music video, God Bless.
We know they less select like King Kong. We they conquer them, this not to what's a gun. Invade the place, we know they ding dong. We know they less select like King Kong.
I gotta say, I love it for the fashion. I love it for the beat. So what's the message and motivation behind the song?
The whole message is about perseverance in general. Talking about people that have blessings coming their way, but then notwithstanding the blessings that you have coming your way, you have to actually put in the work, put in the energy. So you know the line that says, "Uda God don't bless, Uda go put on."
Yeah.
That's saying, yeah. God can give you this, but you actually have to go out and work for it. So basically, the whole story is talking about perseverance. It's talking about grace. It's talking about hard work.
You're coming from a lived experience by bringing across this message, right?
Yes, I actually have a BSc in agriculture and food sciences. I graduated in February, and the problem is that I dropped out for about 2 years. So basically, the song, yes, it resonates with my life, you know, because being able to take myself out of that and go back to school to get the degree, you know, it wasn't easy, but at the end of the day, I had to persevere and I had it done, you know.
So this message applies to everybody, no matter what you're trying to pursue. It could be music, it could be education, it could be becoming a good parent or staying healthy, whatever, right?
Exactly. You know, the second verse starts at tribulation tough, na me born Hercules.
Tribulation tough, na me born Hercules.
He's like the strongest guy. So if I'm saying I'm the mother of the strongest guy, imagine who I am. You get it?
Time now we dey run this. Check it. Now we dey run this. Till humble like a dot till you are taught this. You know for test this. Ask your favorite rapper who the best is.
So what about the fashion? Tell me about this.
So basically, I was trying to go for something authentic, something African, you know, showcase our background, showcase what we are about.
So all of the prints are typically Sierra Leonean.
It was a fusion. It's Sierra Leonean and something European. Because if you notice, I was wearing a blazer. Yeah, a typical Sierra Leonean woman would not wear a blazer, but then it's an Ankara blazer. So yeah, it's a fusion between the European lifestyle and ours here.
Well, one thing though that I think is authentically Sierra Leonean is the beat.
We dey conquer them. This not to what's a gun.
It is. The sound is a fusion of a typical Sierra Leonean style of music called the Bubu style and then the Maringa style. We had these people back in the days that used to do Maringa music. That's like a fusion with the Creole and English, Maringa and the Bubu style. The Bubu is basically the flutes that you would hear, the snares and the kicks that you would hear. It's actually interesting. I need to give credit to the producer that did the song because he actually was able to tap into what I wanted. Kudos to Splendid for that one.
Kudos to him.
Yeah.
He really did capture that because that was
He did.
that's one of the things I really love about the video is the beat, and it has a real strong authentic flavor.
Yeah.
And you just do it beautifully.
Thank you very much. We try our best out here.
So what is next for you? Now you have your bachelor's degree, but I hope you're not going to abandon music.
Oh no. I cannot, even if I try to.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you so much for joining me today and for creating this great music. And good luck with everything.
Thank you very much, Heather. It was nice talking to you. Thank you for having me.
And who was this year's big winner at the Soul Train Music Awards? If you guessed Chris Brown, you are right. Let's hear what he took home and other highlights from the show from our own Barbara Santos.
The R&B star won Best R&B and Soul Male Artist and shared honors for Song of the Year, Best Dance Performance, and Best Collaboration with Young Thug for their hit Go Crazy. Video of the Year went to Beyonce, Blue Ivy, St. John, and Wizkid for Brown Skin Girl. Best R&B and Soul Female Artist was awarded to her. The show, which celebrates the best in soul, R&B, and hip-hop, included performances by Smokey Robinson and Charlie Wilson, Lucky Day, and Babyface, and CeeLo Green. Hosts Tishina Arnold and Tisha Campbell told the Associated Press they wanted to celebrate women who are too often overlooked.
We were thinking, wow, this year is the year of the Black woman. Now, we are Black women, so every year is our year, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. But, you know, this year, Black women came through. They showed up and they pushed things through. They just made it happen. You know, they paved the road for a Black female to become the first vice president of the United States of America. So we as Black women, we wanted to make sure that we are celebrated.
The greatest thing about the Soul Train Awards is that we offer acknowledgement to younger artists and older artists that have been around for a long time. We combine the two. And with our younger audience, we want to make sure that R&B music and soul music is still, you know, a part of our history, a part of us, who we are. We want to acknowledge these artists because they're not going to be as acknowledged in other award shows.
On what would have been Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman's 44th birthday, Disney honored the Marvel King in a royal way, sharing a new opening credit for Black Panther, currently streaming on Disney+. A 30-second tribute showing clips of Bossman was also shared on Marvel Studios' official Twitter account. The unexpected death of Bossman in August at the age of 43 following a 4-year battle with colon cancer shook the world of entertainment. While best known for his role as superhero Black Panther, the star continued to shine through a number of films over the last 4 years, despite dealing with countless chemotherapy treatments and surgeries. At the age of 49, Snoop Dogg says that he's evolved into a mentor, a teacher, leader, role model. Born Calvin Cordoza Brothers Jr., the rapper has a musical career that dates back to the early 90s, and for many years, his brand and lyrics. Let me start over again. At 49, Snoop Dogg says he's evolved into a mentor, a teacher, leader, and role model. He was born Calvin Cordoza Brothers Jr. The rapper has a musical career that dates back to the early 90s.
For many years, Snoop Dogg's brand and lyrics centered around his hardcore gangsta persona.
Well, you know, when I first came out, I believe I was like 20, 21 years old, so I had a lot of learning and growing and just finding myself. And the music that I made at that time was about who I was at the time. And 25, 26 years later, definitely a little bit of that in there still, but grown into a full-grown man, a mentor, a teacher, a leader, a role model, you know, something that I would never dream of being back then.
He told the Associated Press that he did not initially embrace the mentor role, but grew into it.
When we start, we don't aspire to be that, but when we become that, we love it, and we pass it on, and we try to teach others how to be like that. And I connect with people like myself who started off on the wrong side and became better, and who want to mentor and make sure that other young blacks can understand that you can do the right thing early. You don't have to wait to make mistakes. You can start off on the right foot and continue to roll on the good path.
Snoop, who has recently embraced his role as a pitchman with numerous TV commercial appearances, has teamed up with SodaStream, a sparkling water maker company, to promote a greener planet and healthy living.
And as we end the show, here is a look at the transformation award-winning actress Glenn Close underwent as the strong-willed Mamo in Ron Howard's Hilly Billy Elegy, now on Netflix.
Adapted from a memoir of the same name, Hillbilly Elegy is the story of J.D. Vance. As his mother, Bev, played by Amy Adams, struggles with addiction, the role of caretaker falls to his grandmother, Mama, played by Glenn Close. It's Mama's tough love that pushes Vance to create a brighter future for himself. Close shared what it was like getting into character and how the hair, makeup, and added weight from the prosthetics gave her the physical transformation she needed.
Well, it was really important for me not to be distracted by my own face. So I knew that I wanted to do subtle things to get me away from myself. That was the beginning. And so I went to the team that helped me, collaborated with Albert Nobbs for the hair and really subtle changes in the face so that just enough to people won't see, oh, that's Glenn Close.
I just had it down.
Adams says the film's exploration of cycles of trauma and how we break them are what convinced her to join the production.
I think in getting to meet the family, getting to understand her, the book and the movie are told from JD's perspective. So it was really helpful to hear the family stories of Bev.
15-year-old Owen Astalos, who plays a young JD, says being on set was like taking an actor's masterclass.
And just day in and day out learning so much and just being this sponge for the information that was presented to me, for sure. And Glenn, she's so brilliant in the way that she develops her character from head to toe.
And with that, we come to the end of the show today. My name is Jackson Vunganyi. I want to thank you for hanging out with me. For more entertainment news, remember to check us out at voanews.com. We are also on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Until next time, goodbye, everyone.
first point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, welcome to the show.
It is a great source of pride to Nigeria whenever a Nigerian in a foreign country rises to the top of their field and is recognized for good. Here are a few of such Nigerians. Oye Obolewa is the first Nigerian-born Democrat that has been elected as a shadow United States representative out of the District of Columbia. Based on the result, Oye had 82.65% of the votes, which represents 135,234 votes against Joyce Robinson Paul. Oye was congratulated by many, including the Nigeria in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM. His father is from Kwara State and mother is from Oyo. He holds a PhD in pharmacy from the Northeastern University, Boston. He will be representing the District of Columbia under the Democratic Party. Esther Agbaje. Born to immigrant parents, Esther has been elected into the Minnesota House of Representatives in the recently completed United States general election. In the election, Agbaje won by a total of 17,396 votes, which represents 74.7% of the total ballots cast. She will represent District 59B in the 134-member House on the platform of the Democratic Farmer Labor Party, an affiliate of the Democratic Party. She has a degree in political science from George Washington University, Washington, D.C. Oyema Ogbuagwu. Oyema is a Nigerian-born researcher and medical doctor who is one of the brains behind the research at Pfizer for the potential world's first effective coronavirus vaccine. The vaccine has been tested on over 43,000 people in 6 countries and no safety concerns have been raised. Oyema is the son of a former vice chancellor of Abia State University and a professor of sociology. He was born in New Haven in Connecticut but went to the University of Calabar in Cross River State to complete his university education in medicine. He then returned to the Yale School of Medicine to work as the director of the institution's HIV clinical trials program. After becoming a fellow of infectious diseases, he rose to the height of an associate professor of medicine at the Yale University School of Medicine, New Haven. He has worked there for 5 years, focusing on finding a cure for HIV/AIDS. Robert Shola Okoje, the Nigerian doctor who is a native of Uromi, Esso Northeast local government area of Edo State, has been inducted into the NASA Inventors Hall of Fame. Dr. Okoje is recognized globally as the leading expert on silicon carbide-based microelectromechanical systems, MEMS, for use in extreme environments. He has worked with the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, for 20 years and has 21 patents. Isaac Okoro. In the world of sports, Nigerians are also taking center stage. Isaac was the first of the 8 Nigerian players drafted into the National Basketball Association, NBA, in his 2020 draft. He was the 5th overall pick and was chosen by Cleveland Cavaliers in 2020. He was born in Atlanta, Georgia, to Nigerian parents and was a small forward, part of the USA's winning team at the 2018 Under-17 Basketball World Cup in Argentina. His parents originate and immigrated from Nigeria. Isaac played basketball for his high school in Georgia for 4 years, helping his team win the state championship and achieved national success in his senior season. He was considered a 5-star recruit by Rivals and a 4-star recruit by 24/7 Sports and ESPN, respectively. To these Nigerians and other Nigerians breaking the proverbial glass ceiling, we say, keep it up. The motherland is proud of you.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am.
If you no talk, then go beat you.
Now 2,500 when they pay.
Oftentimes when we see celebrities either on social media, television, or in person, we assume they have it all together, but we forget that they're also human. Well, here are some of the low points of some of your favorite celebrities.
Hey, what's up? What's going on? It's Dice Ills, aka Mr. Miyagi, and we're just gonna give a few words to every up-and-coming artist or every dream chaser out there trying to be successful. I started off with just a dream and an undying passion to become Dice. Back in the day, a lot of people told me it wouldn't happen. A lot of people told me my dreams were too big. But one thing that I never stopped doing is I never stopped believing, and I never stopped having passion. And that's what you need to do as well. And when you ever hit success, never forget where you're coming from, because that's the only way that you can stay grounded. So believe in yourself, stay prayerful, and be passionate. One love. Bless.
Truth is, I've always wanted to be an actor in a terrain where people thought, oh, you may not fit in, this may not be the thing for you. I've always been desirous of being an actor, and one of my biggest people mentors, or who I look up to, or the character I want to play, is even playing James Bond sometimes. But it's been a long journey for me. I didn't get here. Last year, 2019, I won Best Actor 2019 for Maya Awards, and I didn't get there all in one day. I've done a lot of things. I've worked in the bank. I worked in the bank for 9 years. I've done real estate. I've sold cars. I've sold lands. I've gone through the highs and lows. And initially, when I told people that I was leaving, I've been doing acting all my life. But when I told people I was going to leave and go full stream and full line into acting, people told me, don't go for this. I don't think that's what you should do. Maybe this is not for you. And it was a tough call to make. It was a tough decision to make, but I eventually decided that I was going to go for it. And I went from audition to audition to audition to audition to audition to audition till I got my first major job, and that led to my second, third, fourth, fifth. And I decided to go and upskill myself and go to film school, in the US. And I came back and I got a fantastic opening, a cinema movie where I played leading man with Omotola Jolade called The Tribunal. So it's been a very, very long journey. But one thing I can say is that whatever path you choose in life, as long as your heart is there, stick with it.
18 years down the lane, I'm still doing my thing as a stand-up comedian and also a master of ceremony. I've been through the vicissitudes of life. It was not like this before. I remember those years when when I was still in Warri, when I would go from show to show, looking for a platform to express myself. Thank God for helps around me, but it wasn't easy. Because I had to convince people that, oh, hey, try me out, I'm funny and all that. I had to trek many times. Even when I moved to Lagos, oh God, I trekked all kinds of distance just to attend shows, just to maximize the opportunities I had. It wasn't funny. I had to squat with squatters. I lived with people that were living with people. It was that bad, but hey, all our stories now. I'm here, and I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. So don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. As long as you believe you can do it, yeah, in spite of the pitfalls, of the shortcomings, still move on. Stand up, dust yourself off the feet, off the ground, and move on. All right. There are more to conquer than you have conquered.
There was once upon a time in my life when I was doing this MC work and all these things, hosting gigs, and I did an event. I won't say the name of the organization, but you know, when they say, oh, we'll give you honorarium, I'm like, yeah, okay, great. And it's not a small organization. And when they finished, I got 25K. So I used the money with the love of God, fueled the car, and then kept the change to buy granules, sauce, and got the egg on the road. When it's your time, it's your time. Don't rush it, don't force it. What's yours is yours. What's meant to be yours will be yours. Nobody can take it away from you because you are you in yourself. Know your creator. And that way, you know that your creator did not create a joke. So therefore, just believe in yourself and your time will come. I love you guys. Thank you.
When I was younger, I had just lost my father. And it was at the time when, you know, we had that television that you open and close like cupboard. Okay, I know that a very high number of people may not understand this. And I came back. Our TV was not there, but our neighbor had bought a new kind of TV. It was colored, and all the kids in the neighborhood were sitting on the floor watching this TV. And then I came back from lesson, saw everyone sitting down there. It looked a bit different from ours, and the pictures looked finer because it was colored. And I stood by the curtain, and this lady just pulled the curtains together and shut me out. I felt bad. But I was also a big-mouthed young child. So I went to her and I said, because of me, you pulled the curtains together, right? The next time you look at that your TV, you will see me there. It was a joke. I mean, like, okay, it wasn't a joke, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. But I just wanted to tell her that she had no rights to shut me out. And I went to school and I got this, the principal came in and said, Commissioner K is looking for you. You're going to open up ROS TV. And guess what? When she put on her TV at 4 p.m., 2 months after, I was a continuity announcer who opened up that station. So don't be afraid and don't worry about how anyone looks at you right now. Worry more about how you see you. Worry more about what you intend to do with you. Worry more about how convinced you are about anything that you want to do. It doesn't matter. People can close their windows, close their doors, tell you to get out, tell you to sit down, tell you to go to bed. It's okay. They're not God. He has a final say. But guess what? You have the final work. Because if you don't work and work towards it, God is just going to stand there waiting. It is what you give to him that he will enhance. I hope this does somebody some good. We're all stars, I tell you. When you look up, you see a lot of them. I'm sure you're up there and shining, okay? So please, put some glow to your own star. Love ya!
Close to 800,000 persons die by suicide every year. Now that's according to statistics from the World Health Organization. More statistics reveal that every 40 seconds, at least one person is likely to die by suicide. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among 15 to 29-year-olds globally. When Nigerians crossed over to the new year in 2019, it was all prayers to God and excitement. Little did the nation anticipate the reign of multiple suicides that would soon ravage it. January 2nd, 2019 was greeted with the first case of suicide. DJ XG, the popular Lagos DJ who took his own life allegedly over marital troubles just a few hours after posting a sad suicide note on his Instagram account. Then to Ms. Hikmat Badamosi, a 100-level student of the University of Port Harcourt. And that statistics continued to swell with a first-class student of yet another Nigerian university, the 21-year-old Akachi Chukwuemeka, who took his own life after dropping a suicide note on his Facebook page. This suicide takes me all the way to the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where his friends and classmates speak about his last moments.
Akachi was dealing with depression long before he came out as an atheist. So, if anything, the depression had left a footprint. And like I said earlier, you can find it reflected in his writing, which is what a lot of people should do.
Akachi's life is kind of complicated, sort of, because I've always known him right from year one as this type of person who is reticent. It's kind of a lonely being, let me put it that way. He usually like being on his own, kind of. So most times, even earlier that day we met, I noticed his mood, kind of. I even asked him basically, Akachi, what's your problem? I've asked him several times, what's your problem? He always tell me, Chris, you won't understand.
I meet Victor, Akachi's closest friend and course mate. He is very emotional as he speaks with me. He deeply regrets his friend's decision to commit suicide.
I never expected something like this to happen. It was a shock. It's so sad that he had to end his life at the ending while we were just about graduating, but I don't still understand it. And concerning the circumstances of his suicide, I personally know the struggles he went through.
From my findings, the pain of suicide is only passed on to the family and loved ones of the suicide victim, as Ifani, Akachi's friend, tells me.
The Monday he died, the Monday morning, I saw him last. We greeted and we talked. The news I got around 8 a.m. was that he was in the hospital. So I had to rush to the medical center. I saw him in a really bad situation. Getting to around 8 p.m. in the night, I got the news that he passed on. The major issue there is the reputation, should I say bad reputation in quote that he left behind, because, for instance, someone would just walk up to you that he's a close friend. Why do you let him do it? And someone might almost think that, okay, since you guys are close, you must know what happened to him, or you participated in making him commit suicide. So the stigma and then the loneliness that your friend is gone.
Just a few kilometers away from the campus, I meet this clergyman who is using his church to reach out to more depressed students. He complains to me that most Nigerian universities do not have the structure to help suicidal students.
Talking about suicide among students, I have come to see that there are 3 factors implicated. Some cases are absolutely mental. The student loses mental coordination and he wants to kill himself. Others are emotional. The student is battling with failure, battling with heartbreaking relationship, battling with one thing or the other, sometimes even parental pressure. And he breaks down emotionally, he's depressed, and he wants to kill himself. But others are absolutely demonic manipulations. The case of Akachi that happened last week, I believe, is one glaring example of demonic manipulation. We live in a very harsh situation in the country now. There is poverty, there is joblessness, and it's not even good enough reason for someone to kill himself. It's not. That is why even those of them who go to school should understand that school is not just about passing exam. School is about being enlightened. So you're able to understand situations of life and how to bring them under your control. That's what education should give to anybody. And besides this intellectual enlightenment, there should be emotional education. Maybe the university should think about introducing a course like emotional intelligence as one of the general courses.
He came all the way to this secluded building to take some bottles of Sniper. As at this time last Monday, Akachi was actually battling for his life, a battle that he lost. Akachi's case is one case too many of increasing suicide attempts across Nigeria. The Department of English and Literary Studies of the University of Nigeria. This used to be the classroom of Akachi Chukwemeka, who had actually committed suicide on May 10th. The last time Mr. Akachi was in this class was on May 10th, his last moments, according to information that I gathered. Well, this used to be one of his favorite sports in this class, where he shared beautiful moments with classmates and friends. According to information that I've gathered from the head of department here, Akachi was actually one of the brightest students of the department, and he was in a first-class grade.
Akachi was a good student, very studious, and he was also a student of mine, all black literature. And to be honest with you, I never had an inkling that there was any trouble with him.
Only a few days after, another devastating news breaks about yet another suicide case. This time, a church worker, a music minister allegedly from the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Michael Orowoshaye, in Abuja. Now, this leads me to the streets of Lagos, where I ask the question, why would someone want to take their life?
I just read recently of the JAMBites who failed JAMB the second time and they went to commit suicide, and that was crazy.
I'm not God. Even God said that created everybody knows that we are one way or the other going to fall short of his glory. So why do I want to commit suicide?
I think the guy that committed suicide has low self-esteem. Suicide is not the best way out. I have a purpose on this earth, so I can't waste it by committing suicide.
These answers lead me to a mega church where I ask this clergyman one question. What does religion say about suicide?
The spirits responsible for suicide are wicked spirits. We've got to understand that this physical world is controlled by the spiritual. Paul said, we don't wrestle with flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, rulers, wicked spirits in high places.
And seeing that Islam is one of the two major religions in Nigeria, I am here at the Lekki Central Mosque in Lagos to ask the same question. Is there a spiritual side to suicide? And if there is, what is it?
As a Muslim cleric, I think suicide is demanding.